ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। प्रज्ञां सुप्रदानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्थविष्टान् पुनरभिदिशनोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुङ् मायया भोजयन्नो मायासङ्ख्यं तुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। यो विश्वात्मा विदिजविषयान् प्राच्यतोगान् स्तविष्टान् पश्चाश्चान्यान् स्वमिति विभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरविशनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगण पार्थसौ न तुरीयः। मन्त्रः ओमित्येतदक्षरमिदं सर्वं तस्योपव्याख्यानं भूतं भविष्यतीति सर्वम् ओङ्कार एव यच्चान्यत् त्रिकालातीतं तदप्यपि ओङ्कार एव सर्वं ह्येतद् ब्रह्म अयमात्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयमात्मा चतुष्पात् जागरितस्थानो बहिःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्ग एकोनविंशतिमुखः स्थूलभुक् वैश्वानरः प्रथमः पादः स्वप्नस्थानो अन्तःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्ग एकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रविविक्तभुक् तैजसो द्वितीयः पादः यत्र स्वप्नो न कञ्चन कामं कामयते यत्र कञ्चन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत् सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानगणः स्वात् एकवमानन्दमयः आनन्दभुक् एव आनन्दमुख प्राज्ञस्तुतीयपादः एष सर्वेश्वरः सर्वेज्ञः सर्वेन्द्रियामी एष योनिः सर्वस्य प्रभवप्ययो हि भूतानाम् न अन्तःप्रज्ञं न बहिःप्रज्ञं न उभयतप्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञम् अप्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानगणं न प्रज्ञं न अप्रज्ञम् अदृश्यम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेशम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवम् अद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते। सोऽयमात्मा अध्यक्षरम् ओङ्कारम् अधिमात्रं पादामात्रा मात्राश्च पादा अकार उकार मकार इति जागरितस्थानो वैश्वानर अकारः प्रथमः पादः मात्रे आप्तिवत्वात् प्राप्नोति ह वै सर्वान् कामान् आदिश्च भवति य एवं वेदः स्वप्नस्थानतैजस उकारो द्वितीया मात्रा उत्कर्षाद् उभयत्वाद् उत्कर्षति ह वै ज्ञानसन्ततिं समानश्च भवति न अस्य ब्रह्मवित्कुले भवति य एवं वेदः सुषुप्तस्थानप्राज्ञः मकारः तृतीया मात्रा मितेरपीतेर्वा मिनोति ह वै य इदं सर्वम् अपीतिश्च भवति य एवं वेदः। Now we are into the 22nd Karika of Mandukya, Prathama chapter, first chapter of Agava Prakarana. So we have seen that the usage of Akara, Ukara, Makara forming the Omkara is representation of our three states of Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. It is not only our Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, it is as is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm. It is also representing the macrocosmic level of gross, subtle, and the dissolution of the gross and subtle. That is the Vishwa, Vaishwanara, Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha, and Prajna, Ishvara. So the mantras 9, 10, and 11 was basically talking about upasana based on where the Phalashruti was also given, or the benefit of doing that upasana was given. Nastya Brahmavit Kule Bhavati. Nobody, there will not be anybody born without Brahma Jnana in his kula or in his lineage. These type of enticing words were there in the mantra itself. Now, having given the akara, ukara, makara, how the meditation has to be done, Gaudapada is taking us to a slightly a different level, in the sense that while the people who were traditionally in the Vedic orientation were looking for always sakama, means with result as every activity, he is also bringing in an aspect of nishkama aspect for the upasana, where the activity of upasana can be for self-realization. It need not be that you become, your desires are fulfilled when you concentrate on akara, or your lineage will not have a man who is not interested in knowing Brahma. Like these type of sakama means with the desired results of the activity. He is also bringing the nishkama bhava. How does it happen is that, so having completed the how the upasana has to be done, or how the meditation has to be done, when the gross is experienced, it doesn't remain as gross, it moves into subtle in the form of memory. So each one of us have a gross experience which is replaced by its own memory, which is a subtle experience. And that is the reason where, which is also produces the dream, or you know imagination, or based on which we are either living in the past or in the future, because both past and future are not gross, tangible in the current moment. Indriya pratyaksham, or immediate, directly perceivable by the sense organs. So both past and the future are part of the subtle world of experiences. So in a day, we in a living condition, when we look at it, how much are we into our gross living? If you analyze it, we will see that it is very, very little. Even while experiencing a gross object, majority of the experience is correlated with the subtle memory of the gross object of the world, but we don't realize it. For example, if we are seeing a flower or an animal, or any experience for that matter, we always have a reference point from the past of our experience, the knowledge base. And that is where we refer to that, and build our own world of imaginations. This is good, this is bad, this is how it should be, this is how it should not be. All those things, the futuristic way of looking at or defining the gross experiences, are based on this subtle world. So majority of the time our life is in the subtle world. We may disagree saying that the majority of my time goes in the daytime. Yes, you are right. We will say our time is spent in the daytime, but in the daytime, if you really analyze our own experiences, the direct consumption of the gross world without the subtleness never happens. Only when a new object or a new experience comes, that is what is the gross in that sphere. Whereas when we are saying, we are right now also, when we are hearing words from my mouth, your words, your mind will be working on the analyzing of the word with the already existing knowledge in your mind, whether verification or absorption of it. It is all depends upon the subtle world of experiences. So when the Upanishad says that the meditation should be that the gross merges into subtle, the akara is becoming the ukara, is from the point of view of experience also. That we are moving from gross to subtle all the time of our experiences. And when these are all consumed, we go to the state of deep sleep or non apprehension. This non apprehension, we think it is happening only in the deep sleep, but unfortunately, it is not so. This non apprehension is a majority of the activity, even in the waking and the subtle world, because of which we don't have memory or the reliving of the experiences of our entire life. We only partially remember only very little of it. So, knowingly or unknowingly, this meditation is happening in every one of us, but we are not putting any effort to analyze it or to make a understanding of how these things are happening. These things are happening. So, if Gaudapada has said, Esha Devasya Swabhavaha, it is this what he is referring to. This nature of awareness to go from the gross to subtle to the absence of it, whether it happens in the waking or dream or in deep sleep, this is a perpetual situation which is happening with every one of us. But we are so deluded or confused with our experiences. What we think is, we are thinking that we are living most of the time in the gross world. Unfortunately, that is not so. Majority of our experience is subtle. Gross is very little. And both the gross and the subtle is lost when we do not have any recall or memory of it. It is as good as when we lost everything in our deep sleep also. This sort of a happening which is happening is not by our wish. It is not volitional that these things are happening. Therefore, it is the nature of awareness that these things are happening, and therefore, it is the nature of awareness to project gross, to project subtleness, and to withdraw it into itself. If this is happening, the ownership of doing that is not in the hands of the individual. It is in the hands of the gross macrocosmic level it is happening. What gross objects we had in the childhood is no more available to us. What subtle experiences we had in our childhood till date, we don't remember many of them. We don't have even memory of some of them in the perfect sense that we may faintly recall them. Who is doing all those things? That is the third one, Makara, which is in the form of the potency to go into gross and the subtle in the bija avastha of the deep sleep, or in the macrocosmic level, it is the Ishvara which is the controller of these things. Esha Sarvajnaha, he knows everything. Esha Sarvavit, Esheshwara, Pralayapya, he is the one who creates and dissolves. So, if you remember the seventh mantra, no, sixth mantra, where it is very clearly said that this is the nature of Ishvara to project and take it into himself. So if you are able to recollect that, these type of meditation, when we do it on the akara, ukara, makara, it will become very, very clear that it is that Ishvara which is taking control of us in our deep sleep. We have no knowledge of our individuality. We have no conditional knowledge, no ego even to say I am there. So Sarvasya Prabhava Apyayohi Bhutana, all creation, not only you, me, and everything, the entire world of creation is being projected and withdrawn by that aspect Ishvaraha, which is the macrocosmic level of equal to the deep sleep. Now, having understood all that three things, now Gaudapada is taking in the 22nd Karika, Trishu Damasu Yattulyam Samanyam Veti Nischitaha Sapujyaha Sarvabhutanam Vandyaha Cha Eva Mahamunihi. Now he is declaring such a person who knows these aspects, he is a Mahamuni. And he should be respected and adorable to Sarvabhutana for all the creation because he knows the reality of what is the creation and the solution. He knows that what is happening in each of these three Trishudamasu. In the Trishudamasu means all the three states of our awareness, the gross, subtle, and the Sushupti. Tulyam Samanyam Veti. He knows that there is something which is Tulyam means equal or evenly spread in all the three states of experiences. The one who knows that he is the puja or he is to be the respected one. And by the Sarva Bhutana Mandyaha, he is also becomes revered and adorable by all the thing, and she is called a Mahamuni. Mahamuni means he Mananad Muni, one who knows it by through his contemplation, the reality of the creation, he becomes the Mahamuni. But he goes back to the Akara, Ukara, Makara to bring in the Nishkama aspect of the Upasana again. Akaro nayate vishwam ukaraschapi taijasam makarascha punapratnyam namatre vidyate gati. Akaro nayate vishwam. The alphabet A, one who meditates on that, he takes his cognition or awareness from his individuality to the Virat Rupa. To the from the microcosm, such a person transcends himself into the macrocosmic level, knowing that what I experience in the gross is the gross of everything. So therefore, no more limitation of I, the limited individual there. He feels that he is the one who is also present in the gross of everything. Ukara, the letter U standing for Taijasa, the dreamer or the experiencer of the subtle world. The subtleness which I am experiencing is not limited to my subtleness. All those experiences which I went is no more with me. But who is the controller and holder of all those subtle things within me? It is no more the microcosmic level, which is this controlling and the receptacle or the repository of the subtle things are happening. There is a macrocosmic entity which is the repository for all subtle things. And he is a Hiranyagarbha. So there is no difference between me as a Taijasa who is experiencing the subtleness and the macrocosmic subtleness of the Hiranyagarbha because I am the same thing which is in the gross microcosmic and macrocosmic. There is no difference between the two. And he comes to the deep sleep where, the one who creates and dissolutes the whole experiences of gross and subtle. Even when I am in deep sleep, I don't know who I am. Definitely, The whole world cannot be contained in my limited body or my limited individuality. But when I wake up, both the gross and the subtle world is projected from me. So I cannot be the limited individual who is at that state when that I knew even my own individuality got dissolved into it. No more ego of mine. No more experiences which I can say my experience. So he has to be the Ishvara who can project the gross and subtle world. So whether I am a Sushupta in the form of Pratnya or whether I am called the Ishvara as in the macrocosmic level, there is no difference between these two. Therefore, what happens? The, the supporting, the substratum where these things, the gross, subtle, and these things are coming up and going, there is a subtle, the substratum where which is happening, and that is called the amatra. Amatra means where there is no a, no u, no ma, but it is the profound silence, the deafening silence, I would call it as, because no word can disturb that silence. It is beyond the words. That deafening silence of the gap between one Om and another Om is exactly what is the substratum in from which the whole world of creation, not only mind, the macrocosmic level, also coming up, whether it is gross, subtle, or the Sushupti or Ishvara, from where it is coming. Whereas the substratum, the deafening silence of non-verbal akara, ukara, makara, or the intangible awareness, because there is no specific aspect with which I can pinpoint it is this. It is the substratum for both subtle, gross, and the whole thing. So, how can there be a movement between one spot to another spot in that state? Therefore, amatra, there is no gati or movement or no travel for that in the case when it is in the amatra, in that state of matra mean measure, so immeasurable or infinite. In that infinite state, there is where can the infinite travel? How where it is not, so that it can go there. No, where it can go, there is no getting. Having completed this aspect of Amatra, Gaudapada is allowing the 12th mantra to be uttered. And this is the final mantra, which is the Samambham of this Upanishad. Amatra Chaturtaha. That Amartha, where there is no matra, is Amatra or Ananta Matra. Both words you can use it. Infinite measured, or where there is no measure. Both way it is the fourth one. It is avyavarya. No way can we can transact or confine it or define it or bring it into the transactional level. All transaction and measures and definitions and adjectives and conditions can happen only when there is a world of experiences. This world of experience is called prapancha. And when the prapancha upashama means the dissolution of the prapancha happens, this non-transactable, immeasurable, infinite, which is the fourth, becomes Shiva, means silent. That profound silence or deafening silence, where there is nothing else you can hear, there is no sound to be heard, but it is not an absence of sound, it is the substratum for all the sound. And there is only one, which there is no equivalent to that for anything else, therefore it is Advaita. And that is Evam Omkara. In that Omkara utterance, This silence is the support for even for the Omkara to come up. Once who knows that this Omkara is coming out of my own original being or my own reality, which is neither conditioned by the micro nor the conditioned by the macro level, Ishvara or the total everything in that the totality of awareness. Atma eva sambishati. He enters into his real nature. One who knows this way, the Omkara and his experiences are not two things, even though we may use the word akara, ukara, makara for explaining that. The experiences which is represented by akara, the experiences which is represented by ukara, the absence of both in the makara, all are happening in the awareness which is my nature, that is Atma. Atma eva sambishati. He becomes or he enters into his nature of Atma, which is that silence or the Amatra Shiva Advaita Omkara. Then the last is the Panchaline. Atmana Atmana Yam Evam Veda. Only Atma can know Atma. Please know this for sure. Not by any of your intellectual jugglery, no way of your separatedness can touch that. Only when you go deep, become the water becoming water, or the space becoming a space, or the silence becoming the silence. That is the only way you can be in Atma. You cannot know. Please understand that. Ya evam Veda. Atmana Atmanam. That is how the end that the plunge into Atma takes place. When this is understood properly. This is the 12th mantra. And there are four more Karika by Gaudapada to explain this. Omkaram Padashaha Vidyat Pada Matra na Samsheha. Omkaram Padasha Jnatva na Kinchitapi Chintaye. He is giving the instruction not to, after having realized that Atma of yours, one should know Atma in the terms of quarters, not measures, Matra, Pada, and all those things are to, to conditions which we are thinking. In the terms of conditioning, we know the world of objects. But beyond the world of beyond the measures, Amatra, one which is that all the four are transacted beyond, and when there is no doubt about any of those things, he should not do anything further. There is no action to be done. No manana, no nididhyasana, no shravana, nothing is there. That deafening silence is your real nature. You are not there in that silence, nor the world is there in that silence. But the silence is not the absence of sound. It is the fullness, Purnamada Purnamidam, that fullness in which there is nothing else. So, how can you hear? How can anything disturb that peace? Shivam, Advaitam. That is the state where it is you are into it. Please make sure that don't bring your intellect or analytical mind to disturb that. See, am I experiencing it or not? That you cannot. You can only be in it, and when you are in it, don't bring that. Is it my experience? No, you are disturbing it. Na vichalayet, napi chintayet. You should not even think about it. This is what Gaudapada says very clearly. Yunjida pranave chetah pranava brahma nirbhayam pranavo nitya yuktasya na bhayam bibeti vidyate kvachit. Yunjida pranave cheta. Pranave, in that Omkara, Chetaha Yunchitaha. Your attention or your awareness should be united into that pranava when it is in. It is the pranava is not anymore a mantra to be chanted. It is that deafening silence or that profound silence which is giving a shape for you to cognize. Chetasaha, by your intellect. Pranava Brahma Nirbhayam. And that pranava, when you know it in its really, you are in a state of fearlessness because you are no more a limited individual where you can get fearful of anything else because Dityadvai Bhayam Bhavati. There is nothing other than that. Therefore, that Brahma is Nirbhayam. Nityayuktasya pranave yaha bhavati tasya na bhayam vidyate kuchit. The one who gets abided in the abidance of that Nitya-yukta Pranava, and that Omkara, with all the four quarters which is mentioned. He sees that the silence even when he is in Akara. He sees that he is in that silence when he is uttering Ukara. He is in that silence when he is in Makara also. He is all the time that silence. Same way, in all our experiences of the gross and subtle and the deep sleep, we are the undiminishing awareness which is aware of these changes. So one who is Nitya-yukta, one who is bonded to this reality of existence, awareness of his own, either in the form of pranava or in the form of Brahma, na bhayam vidyate kochit. There is no way he can get limited or fearful of anything else other than that, his own experiences. प्रणव हि अपरं ब्रह्म प्रणवः च परं स्मृतः अपूर्वः अनन्तरः अबाह्यः अनपरः प्रणवः अव्ययः. Now he is trying to bring some sort of words for the intellect to become stunned. The intellect should stop working. The mind should stop functioning because if the mind has a clutch on something, it will keep challenging or ideation and wondering things about it. So the Gaudapada says, Pranava hi aparam Brahma. Aparam means other than that. Other, aparam, param means other. There is aparam means there is no difference between the Pranava and Brahma. Therefore, Pranava hi aparam Brahma. The Brahma which is being told in the first two mantras of the Upanishad, Soyamatma, Ayamatma Brahma. So that Brahma is Pranava He, is indeed this Pranava. This Pranava cha Param Smritaha. It is this Omkara, Param Smritaha, is the ultimate, Param means ultimate, which the mind, Smrita means with the memory or with the cognition or the imagination, that is the ultimate with up to which you can go. It is only through Pranava. And then you have to drop even Pranava to go to the Amatra, where there is not even the Akara, Ukara, Makara. And how is it? Apurva Anantara. It has no Purva, means no beginning or causation. Anantara, it is not a effect, nor there is something to follow after that. That means there is no beginning, no end to it. Abahyaha Anaparaha. There is no container which can hold it to say it is outside that or it is inside that. Because everything is that. So all the gross, subtle, all type of experiences which we thought is independently operating is nowhere separate from it. It is inside that, like a bubble or a drop of water moving inside an ocean. How can it feel that there is an antaram bahyam? There is inside and outside that. It is only foolishly to think that the drop of water moving inside an ocean has inside and outside. Abahya anapara. Pranava avyaya. This pranava, this onkara is avyaya, is never decaying because it has no beginning, it has no end. So where can there be a decay? There is no vriddhi, no kshaya. Neither there is a growth for it. Where will it grow when it is all? How can it decay? Because to where will it decay it? Where will it get destroyed? So apurva, anantara, abahya, anapara, pranavahi, avyaya. So सर्वस्य प्रणवः हि आदि मध्यम अन्तं तदा एव च एवं हि प्रणवं ज्ञात्वा व्यश्नुते तत् अनन्तरम्. This pranava, sarvasya adi, it is the beginning of everything. Madhyam antacha tadacha, it is the middle and the end. So what is there in the beginning, what is there in the middle, what is there in the end, there is nowhere it is not there. So it is sarvatra. So you so locationally also you cannot measure it where it is, because akara ukara makara, if you are looking at it, it is all coming from that pranava which is got both four matras, and the fourth matra is amatra, which is ananda matra and without a measure, amatra, and in that the akara ukara makara is appearing. So therefore it is adi madhyam antam, it is the beginning, the middle, the end. The evam pranavaham hi nyatva, one who certainly knows the atma, his own atma or his own the brahma as a pranavam nyatva, he has nothing more to be attained after that. Tad anandaram vyasnute. There is nothing more he can attain that. He that instantaneous becoming everything. Sarvam apnoti sarvashaha is the word used in the Mandukya Upanishad. He pervades everything at all the time. Everything is in him. So therefore he pervades everything. And there is no birth or decay or growth or decay or nothing of the avyaya. Therefore sarvashaha, all the time. This is how the Mandukya Upanishad defines about it. So Pranavam hi Ishwaram vidyat sarvasya hridaye sthitam sarvavyapinam omkaram matva dhiro na shojati. Pranavam hi Ishwaram. Vidyat means understand that. This pranava, this omkara is Ishvara. Ishvara here is not representing the macrocosm of the deep sleeper. Here he is talking about the Brahma or the Atma or Sarveshwara. Because Sarvasya Hridaya Sthitam, it is in the heart of everyone. Here heart is not the physical heart. The heart is everything for everyone. So every creation, he is the one. He is the center of creation of all the things. He is also in the center of all that created. So at the same time, he is all that created and he is the center of creation and everything is centered in him. So how can words describe such a situation? Sarvya Vyapinam Omkaram, this all pervading Omkara, one who knows that that is the reality. Matva means having understood that. Dhiro na shochati. Dhimantaha. Dhiraha means dhimantaha, one who has firm conviction about his own true nature, the reality of everything. Sarva vyapinam omkaram. Sarvasya hridaye sthitam. Pranava hi Ishwaram. And I am that Pranava. I am Atma. Atmana Atmanam. Knowing that in being in that, there is nothing you can be scared of or to be sorrowful about or even worry about. There is nothing to be considered other than you. So, what is there to be worried about? What is there to be cried about? So, there is no way one who knows this, he will have sorrow. And in the last Karika, Gaudapada says, Amatra Anantamatra ja Dvaitasya Upashama Shivaha Omkara Viditaha Yena Sa Munir Itara Janaha. Amatra Anantamatra. This Omkara, without matra, without measure, and Ananta Matra is infinite in measure. There is no measure, but at the same time it is infinite in measure. One who knows this, for him Dvaitasya Upashama, the duality is no more possible there. And that Shiva, the pure silence, that deafening silence or the profound silence, is represented by the Omkara. One who knows Yena Vidita, Sa Munir Itare Jana. He is considered as the Muni or the man of knowledge or the ultimate person who has realized the truth by all the Idare Jana. By all the other people consider him to be the one who is not any other person who talks in different ways about it. Very clearly, Gaudapada says that if you are talking about different aspects of it, he has not understood. There is no way there can be a separate difference. Advaitam Paramartata. The only truth is Advaita. So, therefore, you have to understand it in its totality, in exactly the way in which it is being written in the 12th mantra and subsequently. With this, Gaudapada completes his first chapter and the Agama Prakarana is complete. Technically speaking, the Upanishad is over and the explanation by Gaudapada through his Karika and Shankara's Bhashyam, everything as per the Upanishad is complete. But there are three more chapters for those who have not been able to grasp, understand these aspects of the subtleness. There are methods in which what is the Vaidatya Prakaranam, the next Prakaranam is about the delusion, how did it happen? How am I still having these experiences? Why am I still getting into all this Jagrat Swapna Sushupti? Why is it? Where is it happening? All those aspects are discussed in the Vaidatya Prakaranam, which is called the Vaidatya means Maya or illusion. And the next, after that is the Advaita Prakaranam, where the non-duality aspect is explained, and the last chapter, which some people consider as an addendum, is bringing in example of the Buddhist literature where they are talking this silence as shunyata and refuting that this is not shunyata because shunyata or the absence of sound is not equal to the amatra. It is not the absence of sound nor the absence of utterance. It is one thing which we have to understand that This is not a shunyata or a negation of akara ukara experiences. It is the inclusion of the experiences into one's own understanding and reality that all those experiences are not separate from me. I am those experiences. And when I am seeing my own experiences as separate from me, I am getting deluded. Like seeing the snake separate from the rope, we get deluded. Same way, the world is seen separate from me, I get deluded by the world. The knowing this reality through the Omkara Upasanas given in this last part of it, one who can transcend the measures and to the infinite measure of one's own reality, Atmana Atmanam Vidye, one who knows the Atma by becoming Atma, na matva dhiro na shojati. The one who knows this has no more sorrow. With that, I end this first chapter. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyavada.